Well, one of the best things that happened to me was that during my time in school, Founders Day was on my birthday, May 14th. And therefore, most people, especially those from my class, never forgot to wish me on that day. However, we had a fantastic bandmaster in those days called Mr. Denzel Prince. And it was everyone's wish to be involved in the band at some point in time. So while I was in class 7, I joined the band and I was a drummer, and it was a fantastic experience. Subsequently, when I moved to class 8, I seemed to have grown taller than most of my classmates, and I wasn't obviously one of the 3 top best drummers. So Denzi asked us as to who would be interested in being the drum major. It was called being a drum major, not band major as it is called now. And I came forward and I agreed. And I think that was the highlight of my experience with Founders. And one of the most memorable Founders was when I was chief guest for the Beating Retreat, and that was something that actually blew my mind, because it's one thing to be taking part in the parade, but to be a chief guest, and especially a chief guest as a representative of the parents of the students, was something fantastic. And I must thank my friends, some of whom came up for that Founders, especially to see me standing on the on the podium and taking the salute, etc. That was obviously a very great moment for me, and possibly the highlight of my life. Well, I think in terms of activities, it's obviously Beating Retreat, and in Beating Retreat it is the Drummers Retreat and the Echo being played, and that to me was amazing. But I will end with one important thing, and I found that to be the most amazing thing that happened to me. Was many years ago, I can't remember when exactly, I gathered that the school did not have a bandmaster, and the senior batch actually trained the junior batch. I don't know whether this was in 2004, 5 or 6. They trained the junior batch, and that to me was an amazing example of what comes out of Lawrence School when students are prepared to take the time to teach their youngsters, and that is what actually Founders is all about and Lawrence is all about. Well, the best part about Founders was, I think, almost 1.5 months or so before Founders Day, we went into Founders practice mode, which meant that classes became easier, and we never had classes post lunch, and then it became a time when we never had classes at all. So it was generally a very, it was a happy festive occasion, and practice was tough. It was very, very tough, because Mr. Kader, who managed the parade, was an amazingly tough guy and very good, and our parades used to be extremely well done. I don't have enough words to say about Mr. Denzel Prince, because he was one hell of a bandmaster, and he was tough, and he made us smart. In fact, a lot of what we are today in terms of smartness and things like that, possibly we owe to Founders, Denzi and Kader. Obviously for me it was when we were in the 8th standard, when I became the drum major for the bugle band, and virtually the entire bugle band were my classmates, and it was an amazing